In the peaceful countryside of America, surrounded by green fields, wooden farmhouses, and quiet country roads, lived a hard-working man named Daniel Carter. Every morning before sunrise, Daniel left his tiny rented home and traveled miles to work at a small construction supply company. His salary was barely enough to survive. After paying his rent and buying food, he sent whatever little money remained to his elderly parents, his loving wife Sarah, and his 5-year-old daughter Lily. Even though life was difficult, Daniel never complained. Instead, every night before going to bed, he looked up at the sky and prayed, "Dear God, please bless me with a better opportunity so I can give my family a better life." Whenever he had a day off, Daniel searched for a better job, but every interview ended the same way. "We're sorry, we're not hiring." Still, he refused to give up because he believed that honest work would eventually be rewarded. One cool autumn afternoon, after another unsuccessful interview, Daniel slowly walked home along a quiet country road. The road was almost empty. Suddenly, he heard a faint cry. At first, he thought it was the wind, but then he heard it again, this time louder. Daniel followed the sound toward a patch of tall grass beside the road. What he found broke his heart. A beautiful golden-colored dog lay helpless on the ground. Its front leg was badly injured. Its fur was covered in dirt. The poor animal trembled with pain. Someone had hit the dog with a car and simply drove away. The frightened dog looked into Daniel's eyes. It didn't bark. It didn't move. It simply looked at him, as if silently begging, "Please don't leave me here." Daniel slowly reached into his pocket. He counted his money. $28. That was everything he had. Without that money, he wouldn't even have enough to buy food for the next few days. He looked at the money, then at the injured dog. For a moment, he hesitated, but only for a moment. Taking a deep breath, he smiled gently. Money can always be earned again, but a life can never be replaced. Without another thought, Daniel wrapped the injured dog inside his work jacket and hurried toward the nearest veterinary clinic. There, Dr. Jennifer Wilson immediately began treating the dog. After several minutes, she walked over to Daniel with a gentle smile. "You brought him just in time," she said. "Another hour and we wouldn't have been able to save him." Daniel felt relieved. Then came the bill. $28. Exactly everything he had. Without hesitation, he handed over every dollar in his wallet. The veterinarian noticed that his wallet was now completely empty. "Was that all the money you had?" she asked softly. Daniel smiled. "Yes, but he's alive now. That's all that matters." Dr. Wilson looked at him with admiration. "I've met many wealthy people in my life, but very few have a heart as kind as yours." That evening, Daniel took the dog home. He spread an old blanket on the floor to make a bed for his new friend. Opening the kitchen cabinet, he found only a loaf of bread and a can of soup. He divided everything into 2 equal portions, half for himself, half for the dog. Smiling warmly, he said, "Every friend deserves a name. From today, your name is Buddy." The dog's tail began to wag. For the first time in many weeks, Daniel laughed. That night, he went to bed hungry, but his heart was filled with peace because he had saved a life. What Daniel didn't know was that this single act of kindness was about to change his own life forever. Over the next few weeks, Daniel took wonderful care of Buddy. Every morning before leaving for work, he cleaned Buddy's injured leg, changed the bandage, and made sure he took his medicine. Although Daniel had very little, he always shared his food with his new friend. Day by day, Buddy grew stronger. His wounds healed. His beautiful golden fur became soft and shiny once again. Before long, Buddy was running through the fields with endless energy. But one thing never changed. From the moment Daniel saved his life, Buddy never left his side. He followed Daniel everywhere. It was as if he had made a promise to protect the man who had shown him kindness. One cool afternoon, Daniel was walking home after another job interview. The interview hadn't gone well. His heart was heavy. As he passed a large construction site, workers were busy installing steel beams on the upper floors. Daniel was so lost in thought that he never noticed the danger above him. Then, everything happened in an instant. A heavy steel rod slipped from a worker's hands. It fell straight toward Daniel. People nearby screamed, "Look out!" But Daniel didn't hear them. He was completely unaware. Buddy looked up. In a split second, he understood exactly what was happening. Without thinking twice, Buddy sprinted toward Daniel with all his strength. He slammed into Daniel's legs. Daniel lost his balance and fell to one side. A heartbeat later, the massive steel rod smashed into the ground exactly where Daniel had been standing. The sound echoed through the construction site. Dust filled the air. Everyone froze. One of the workers rushed over, his face pale with shock. "If that dog hadn't pushed you, you would have died." Daniel slowly looked at the steel rod. Then he turned toward Buddy. His eyes filled with tears. He knelt down and wrapped his arms around his loyal friend. His voice trembled. "The day I saved your life, I never imagined that one day you would save mine." Buddy gently wagged his tail and rested his head against Daniel's shoulder. No words were needed. Their friendship spoke louder than anything. The next morning, Daniel decided to bring Buddy with him to work. He didn't want to leave him home alone. As soon as they entered the office building, the company manager, Michael Thompson, frowned. "What is a dog doing in my office?" he demanded. "This is a workplace, not an animal shelter." Daniel spoke politely. "Sir, Buddy is very gentle. He won't disturb anyone. He'll stay quietly beside me." But Michael shook his head. "I don't allow animals inside this building. Take him outside immediately." Daniel looked at Buddy with sadness. He gently patted his head. "Wait for me here, Buddy. I'll be back as soon as work is finished." Buddy quietly lay down beside the office entrance. His eyes never left the front door. He patiently waited for his best friend. Around noon, Michael's 6-year-old daughter Emily arrived to surprise her father. While Michael was busy inside a meeting, Emily wandered outside alone. Across the street, a bright red balloon floated through the air. Smiling with excitement, Emily chased after it. Without realizing it, she stepped into the middle of the road. At that exact moment, a speeding delivery truck came around the corner. No one saw her. No one, except Buddy. Buddy immediately jumped to his feet. He barked as loudly as he could. Again and again. Michael ignored the barking at first. Why won't that dog be quiet? But Buddy refused to stop. He ran toward the road, then back to Michael. He barked even louder. Finally, Buddy grabbed the bottom of Michael's pant leg with his teeth and pulled. Michael suddenly realized something was terribly wrong. He rushed outside. The moment he looked toward the street, his heart almost stopped. Emily was standing directly in the truck's path. "Emily!" Michael sprinted faster than he ever had before. Just seconds before the truck reached her, he grabbed Emily into his arms and leaped back onto the sidewalk. The truck thundered past. Only inches away, Michael collapsed to his knees, holding his frightened daughter tightly. Tears streamed down his face. He realized that without Buddy, he would have lost the person he loved most. Slowly, Michael stood up and walked toward the loyal dog. He knelt beside Buddy and gently stroked his head. His voice shook with emotion. "Today, you didn't just save my daughter. You saved my entire world." Buddy simply wagged his tail, as if kindness was all the reward he ever needed. Later that afternoon, Michael asked Daniel to come into his office. Daniel felt nervous. He thought he might lose his job. Instead, Michael stood up from his chair and offered Daniel a warm handshake. "Daniel, I owe you an apology. I judged you before I knew who you really were. A man who spends his last dollar to save a helpless animal is a man of true character." Michael handed Daniel a large envelope. Inside was a promotion letter. Starting today, Daniel was officially promoted to site supervisor. His salary was doubled. For a few moments, Daniel couldn't speak. His eyes filled with grateful tears. As the sun slowly disappeared behind the hills of Willow Creek, Daniel stood outside with Buddy beside him. He looked up at the beautiful evening sky and quietly whispered, "Thank you, God, for reminding me that kindness is never wasted." Buddy gently rested his head against Daniel's leg. Together, they walked home beneath the warm golden sunset, ready to begin a brighter chapter of their lives. Moral of the story: a single act of kindness can change a life forever. Compassion is never wasted because every good deed returns when you least expect it. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Share this story with your family and friends because one act of kindness can inspire another. And don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming stories. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.